Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first class of Prelims Mentorship 2025. Today, the topic will be agriculture. So, in agriculture, we'll be discussing important topics for Prelims 2025. So, first thing, we'll see the topics which are important for Prelims 2025. These topics are based on the PYQs of UPSC, especially on agriculture. So if you see the PYQs again in the demo class also, I have told you, I have asked you to go through the PYQs first. Anyways, yeah, after the class also you can go through the PYQs, especially related to agriculture. In the class as well, I will be discussing certain PYQs as well. So overall, you will have knowledge of what questions are going to be asked, and based on that, you will prepare this topic. Apart from that, you have any doubt related how to prepare this particular topic, you can ask me or Bright Sir. Is this clear? Okay, so first the topics are like important crops. So can you give me some important crops which are repeatedly asked in UPSC? One is rice, very good. And I think I asked everyone to get a notepad. So kindly note down certain things whenever we speak about important topics or important dimensions and all, you need to note down them so that when you're revising or when you're preparing this topic, you'll focus more on those things. So especially this year, tell me which topic can be asked more or less in 2025. Any idea related to crops? We are expecting that this year, okay, one is millets, very good. One is millets. Yeah, Niger is already asked. Already they've already asked. That comes from MSP. MSP again properly we'll discuss. Bright Sir will be discussing MSP properly. So in that, anyways, MSP crops and all we'll be discussing. But particular crop, like for example, UPSC is very interested in asking. Can I say rice? Rice questions have been asked lot of times. Okay, sugarcane. Sugarcane questions have been asked a lot of times. Especially rice and sugarcane has been repeatedly asked. Apart from that, yes, cotton also has been asked sometimes. But apart from that, this year in 2025, apart from rice, sugarcane and all, millets and oil seeds could be possible question in the exam. And a repeat question on pulses also can be asked this year, because in PIB, we have gone through some of the articles in PIB, especially related to agriculture and all. We are seeing more content on pulses, oil seeds, and nutri cereals, or they are called what? Now, like government has given a name for them. What is that? They're called Sri Anna. Okay, they're called Sri Anna. So you may see the same name as well in the exam as well. So they are basically nutri cereals. You can call them, or Sri Anna also you can call them. So we are expecting a question on millets or oil seeds or pulses. In that way, important crops. Again, I'll also discuss some information on these crops as well. Next, production and yield. Yes, always they have asked questions on production and yield. Area they have asked. Nowadays, they are focusing on this imports and exports questions as well. Last year also, they asked some apple exports. Last to last year, again, they asked some exports and imports. They asked what are the most imported edible oil also they have asked. So exports and imports also is important for the UPSC exam. And then MSP, anyways, you know that MSP is very important topic for UPSC. MSP and its procurement procedure. Next, sugarcane and oil seeds already we just now discussed. Next, micro irrigation and drip irrigation, cultivation of unique crops. This also we will cover basic and we will cover this more in the current affairs. So whenever some unique crops are mentioned in the current affairs, we are going to cover this unique crops in the current affairs. Next, fertilizers and pesticides also have been more or less asked alternatively in UPSC exam. This also I will discuss what fertilizers, especially pesticides, we discussed based on threat to environment. So there also I'll be discussing pesticides. Anyways, here we'll focus more on the fertilizer part. Next, some important agriculture schemes can be asked in the exam. Okay, FCA also can be asked, or what are some kharif crops and what are some rabi crops also you need to understand. That also we will see. Okay, if you few rabi and kharif crops, especially if you have good knowledge of MSP, these questions can be answered. So in MSP, anyways, we will be discussing what are kharif crop MSPs and what are rabi crop MSP. Next, credit in agriculture. Next, agriculture technology and new agriculture practices. New agriculture practices are important. Every year, somehow they are asking you some new agriculture practices, or they are asking you some new agriculture initiatives as well. So these things we will see in this two classes. First class will be taken by me today, and next class will be by Bright Sir. Okay. So all this will segregate into two classes. And what is your work is basically you need to focus more on these topics for coming prelims. Is this clear? Okay. So first we'll start with some observations. Every year we need to have some observations on this exports or imports, production, increasing, decreasing trends, land use statistics, agriculture households and all. For example, if you see in this year, there was NSSO survey and this question was exactly asked in the exam as well, situation assessment of agriculture households. Especially these topics will become important for the exam if they are in the PIB. So this question has been asked in the format of this. So this is a UPSC question asked, I think in mostly in somewhere in 2018, I think this question was asked. So as per NSSO 70th round situation assessment survey, so from that survey, from the first page or second page of the PDF, they asked this question. Okay. So we also will go through some of the important any surveys on especially rural households or agriculture households, anything related to agriculture, if they give any survey and all, it will become important for the exam. For example, this year I have seen in the PIB, especially this land use statistics has been mentioned a lot of times, and government is also quoting this land use statistics in the articles. So from this, they can ask you a question saying that as per the land use statistics and all, which of the following statements are correct? So these type of questions can be asked in the exam. So tell me, the area under agriculture land in the country has steadily increased in the last decade. Is it a right statement? The area under agriculture land in the country has steadily increased in the last decade. Definitely, this statement will be wrong because generally, tell me, what is the trend of agriculture land? Is it increasing or decreasing overall? Definitely, there is a trend of decreasing because agriculture land, again, it is used for different purposes, okay, like in industries and also, and because of the urbanization also, there is a crunch of land. So area under agriculture land has actually decreased a bit. That anyways, I'll discuss in the next slide. Next, what happened? More than 58% of the land area is available for agriculture purposes in the country. Now, why I'm giving you this statement? Because in the recent years, recent times, you have seen in UPSC, they are asking you the arable land. Okay, India's largest arable land. Okay, comparison. The questions they are asking you, or they have asked questions on groundwater, and in groundwater also they asked you some percentages and all. So all these things will become important, and in this, especially this land use statistics, in the first year second page, these statistics have been mentioned. So more than 58% of land area is available for agriculture purpose in the country. Is it true? More than 58%, or around 58%, you can say around 58% of the land area is available for agriculture purpose in the country. Yes, this statement is right. Okay, yes, sometimes it's very difficult for you to know the content, but yes, this is an important content for the exam. 58% of the land area is available for agriculture purpose in the country. Now tell me about the irrigation, because I have seen previous UPSC questions where they are asking about irrigation as well. So in irrigation, canal irrigation has the highest share in net irrigation area in India. Is it correct? Canal irrigation has the highest share in net irrigated area. You can just tell me right or wrong. You can just type W or R. Yes. So more or less, we have some like misconception. I can say that we have lot of irrigation, we have lot of dams and all. Because of that, we think that canal irrigation is highest, but as such, canal irrigation is not highest. So if canal irrigation is not the highest, then tell me what is the possible answer of this? What type of irrigation generally we see in India? Yes, very good. Groundwater. Groundwater, already UPSC has asked a question on groundwater. Similarly, I'm trying to just ask you a similar type of question. Okay, so groundwater, how are we using groundwater? How do we use groundwater? Pumps. Very good. They are called tube wells. Remember this word? They are called basically tube wells. So, any idea what will be the percentage of tube well irrigation in India? Tube well irrigation in India? Because this percentage also important. Sometimes they use the word called half. Okay, for 50% and all, they try to use more than half, around half, less than half. Okay, so these type of words they try to use in the exam. So you need to know the percentage of tube well irrigation as well in India. So it is more or less, you can say it is around 50%. Okay, well irrigation is around 12% or 13%. So overall, if you see, tube well plus wells will be around 62%. This anyways, I have given a slide, so don't worry about this. But you have to remember this, that the highest percentage of irrigation is which category? It will be not canals, it will be tube wells. Okay, yes, groundwater. So as such, they may not give you groundwater sometimes, so they will give you tube wells. Okay, fine. So basically, I have in the statistics, what is the important statement is the area under agriculture land in the country has marginally reduced from, you don't have to remember this, just for the like the statement I have given this, don't have to remember, you just have to remember marginally reduced, that's it. Okay, just remember that it has marginally reduced since in the last 4 or 5 years. Next important word in UPSC is total cropped area, because in PYQs I have checked this keyword is given a lot of times, total cropped area. So total cropped area is highest in Madhya Pradesh in India. Remember this. So total cropped area is highest in Madhya Pradesh in India. Haryana has the highest percentage share of agriculture land to total area in India. So for example, this is, let us say this is Haryana. Okay. So highest percentage of its area. Okay, so whichever state, whatever state is there, highest percentage share of agriculture land to its total area. Which state has highest percentage of agriculture land to its total area? Is it Haryana or any other state? Again, I'll repeat this question. Simply saying, let us say this is the total area of Haryana. Okay, so I am saying that, let us say I am saying that 90% of the area of Haryana, 90% of the area of Haryana is under agriculture land. Did you understand this point, everyone? If Haryana is 100%, I am saying that 90% of land area is basically agriculture land. Okay. So is it true or false? Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. It is true. Okay. Haryana has the highest percentage share of agriculture land to its total area. Almost 90% of agriculture land of Haryana, land of Haryana is basically agriculture land. Remember that. It's not Punjab, so confusion easily they can confuse you. Why I'm giving you these statements again? Remember, we have seen this Rajasthan has the highest percentage share of agriculture households. So same thing I'm trying to give you here, because in that statistics, clearly in the first or second page, these things have been mentioned. Okay. Next, coming to the irrigated area of total net sown area, definitely I think this you can clearly say. Which state has highest percentage of net irrigated area to its total net sown area? Yes, very good. It is Punjab. Okay. So again, simple. The concept is nothing but, for example, let us say in Punjab, almost 85% of the land is agriculture land. Okay. 85% of the land is agriculture land. And let us say more or less the net sown area is also almost same thing. Like in the entire area, they are growing crops. Now in this area, which state has the highest irrigated area to the net sown area? So it is basically Punjab. Almost we can say 95% of the net sown area in Punjab, they have irrigation facilities. They have irrigation facilities. Okay, it is a simple concept. So entire area what they are sowing, okay, basically they have irrigation facilities to most of the cultivable land. Okay, so this is simple concept and the first comes is Punjab. Is it clear everyone? These two concepts? Any doubt? One is talking just about agriculture land, the other is talking about irrigated area. So when they ask you agriculture land, what will be the answer? Highest percentage agriculture land, the answer will be Haryana. Yes, and highest irrigated area will be Punjab. Yes. Now coming to this statistics, like basic idea you need to have about what is like entire geographical area of India is there. In that entire geographical area, you can see net area sown is basically 46%. Means whatever this agriculture we are doing, okay, it is basically this 46%. Next, there will be forest 24%. It's fine. But for the exam purpose, what is important is you need to just remember few things in this. Basically, there is culturable wasteland, there is fallow land, there is current fallow, and there are some pastures also. These three things you try to remember. This culturable wasteland and fallow land, basically they are just 4%. Remember, permanent pastures are basically 3%. So they may ask you like just some descending or ascending order kind of thing. So for that purpose, you try to just remember this thing. Okay. So this anyways, after the class also, you can just analyze this pie chart. But for now, what is important is what is this culturable wasteland? Because in UPSC in PYQ, in one of the PYQ, they asked you culturable wasteland as well. That is the reason, first of all, you need to have idea about what is culturable wasteland. So tell me in this, what is the culturable wasteland? Culturable wasteland, or it is also called as cultivable wasteland. Okay. The same thing, culturable also, you can also call it as cultivable wasteland. So which statement makes more sense? A land that is suitable for cultivation but has been left uncultivated for at least 2 years. Land that has cultivated in the past but has not been cultivated for the last 5 years or more. Land that is barren and unfit for any form of agriculture. Land currently under cultivation but with poor soil fertility. Okay. So the right option for this culturable wasteland is basically option B. Option B. The land that was cultivated in the past but has not been cultivated for the last 5 years or more. Okay, remember 5 or greater than 5. It is not less than 5. It is 5 or greater than 5. So they are called culturable wasteland. Nothing but culturable means nothing but they can be actually cultivated. Okay, but they have not been cultivated in the past 5 years. That is the reason we call them culturable wasteland. Now in UPSC, what happened? They have given one statement that Which state has the highest cultivable wasteland area? So tell me what will be the answer? Which state has the highest cultivable wasteland, all cultivable wasteland? Very good. Yes, it is Rajasthan. Okay, the answer is Rajasthan. Just remember, they may repeat the question also in the exam. The UPSC tends to repeat the statements also in the exam. So just remember, or sometimes it will ask a very basic concept as well, like what is cultivable wasteland also, it may ask. So these two things you need to remember for the exam. It is at least 2 years is there, right? Okay, it's not 2 years, at least for 5 years. Okay, so here you can see current fellow. Any idea what is current fellow? Current fallow means basically it has to be left uncultivated in the present year. Okay, that is the reason it is called current fallow. So present year, generally 4% of the agricultural land is kept like it is not cultivated. Okay, that is current fallow. Whereas fallow lands other than current fallows means basically 1 to 5 years. Okay, so 1 to 5 years comes under this fallow land other than current fallows. Whereas culturable wasteland, then what will be the year here? It will be 5 years or more. Simple. So this is the concept of this pie chart as well. Okay. Is it clear? Clear, everyone? Akhil, did you get the point? Okay, fine. So next, see, this is the UPSC question. This is a UPSC previous year question where they were asking this culturable land, and you can see here Rajasthan has the largest area of wastelands in India and all. So this statement will be important for you. Rest of the statements I'll deal with later. For now, you just have to remember that third statement. Yes, coming to that irrigated area which I taught you just now. So this 62% is basically what? 62% is the tube wells. I told you tube wells and wells. Whereas what is the percentage of tube wells? I just discussed what is the percentage of tube wells? Around 50. Just remember around 50. That's enough. Okay. Okay. Next, some other observations in from PIB articles. We have gone through some PIB articles. Like they in some of the articles they were mentioning about. I told you sugarcane is an important topic for UPSC. So Dash is the largest producer of sugarcane in India, contributing about 48%, followed by Maharashtra, which is 23%. So which state has the largest producer of sugarcane? It's easy. Yes, it is UP. Okay, just note down in your notes. Again, I'm telling you these things will not be in the slide. The answers are not there in the slide. You need to note down the things. That is the reason I asked you to get the notepad. So UP is the largest producer of sugarcane in India, contributing about 48%, followed by Maharashtra. Next, Dash is the largest exported agriculture product from India and contributed to more than 20% of total agriculture exports. If I'm talking just about a one single product, what is the answer? The answer will be single product, single product. If I'm asking about single product, yes, non-basmati rice. So basically it is rice. Whereas if I talk about products, then the answer will be marine products. Remember, so this is the only difference you need to know for the exam. Remember, if they give you products, okay, which are the largest exported products and all, if they give you, so entire, if you see marine products, if you club, actually marine products has the largest value export. Okay. Whereas if they ask you single product in this way, yes, then definitely it is non-basmati rice, or you can just call it as rice. Okay. So these are two important observations. And these are also based on your PYQs only. In PYQs also, sometimes they've asked you marine products as well, and sometimes they've asked rice as well. Apart from that, trade also is important. Trade and exports, I told you some observations in trade and exports. So just by seeing this chart, tell me country-wise share of exports, especially in the recent last year. So which country most of the exports go? Agriculture exports? It will be USA. USA. It will be USA. Okay. Clearly, it has been given in the last year. Okay. In the last year, it is mostly USA. And one second. One second. Yeah, it is USA. And then it will be, what is the second? Second is China. Okay. Yeah, USA and China. So just remember these two things, and if they ask you any like two, three things also, you can just remember. First is USA, and then again there is China. Okay. Apart from that, we have seen, especially I told you, right, exports are important, export questions are important, export and trade, especially in agriculture, it's important. So in this context, there are certain schemes which are being discussed in PIB or even in the Invest India website and all. So in that websites, we have seen that the financial assistance scheme has been asked. Why this is important? Because just by seeing the scheme, you cannot easily tell it is related to which topic. Can we say? It's not easy, right? There is nothing else. There is just the financial assistance scheme. Okay. So just by seeing the scheme, it's very difficult to say it is related to what. So try to answer this question. The financial assistance scheme is an export promotion scheme run by the National Program for Organic Production. Is it right? Okay. There is some organization here. Definitely, yes, we'll doubt that. These things I'll anyways teach you in the after the test discussion. So how to handle the questions which you do not know. So anyways, yeah, this is wrong. Generally tell me, for export promotion, what is the body in agriculture? For export promotion, always remember, for export promotion in agriculture, it is APEDA. Just note down this and you can just research a bit after the class also. So kindly note down this, everyone. Export promotion, it is APEDA, and I want everyone to just open the APEDA website once, and about us page is there, right? I want you to go through the About Us page once. Today itself. After the class, everyone will open APEDA page once and just see what is there in the About Us page. So this will be your task today. Task 1. Kindly someone note down this task also and post it in the group. Okay, so I have given one task here. You will open APEDA website. Just About Us. I am not asking you to do anything else. I just want you to go through About Us page of APEDA. Okay. Next, anyways, yeah, financial assistance scheme. There are three things in financial assistance for exports of agriculture products. So basically, this scheme is for exports of agriculture products. So development of export infrastructure first. Next, quality. Third, marketing. So these three words you have to remember. One is development of export infrastructure. Second is quality, and third is market. Okay, this you can revise anyways one from the slides. Apart from that, in recent this export related current affairs and all, we are seeing this nuclear magnetic resonance. This keyword we are seeing, and recently what happened in Tamil Nadu, there was a conference also on this nuclear magnetic resonance. So they may ask you, because this comes under agriculture technology as well. Agriculture technology is one of the focus area for UPSC. So with reference to nuclear magnetic resonance technology, consider the following statements. NMR can be used to detect food adulteration, particularly in honey. NMR provides a highly accurate analysis of the composition authenticity of food products. So tell me, what about these two statements? Are they right or wrong? So one is basically yes, food adulteration statement, and yes, for particularly it is being used for honey. That is a statement. And second, it is saying yes, overall, if you see, it gives highly accurate analysis of composition and authenticity of food products. First of all, this is a technology question. Okay, so in technology question, generally what will be the mindset? Kind of broad. Okay, so I told you always in technology questions, generally you can be bit broad. So the answer is yes, both are right. It is being actually used for honey. So this nuclear magnetic resonance analysis is a powerful tool in preventing and combating food fraud and adulteration, particularly in the case of honey. And recently, yes, it has become mandatory for exporting honey to USA. Okay. So just remember this keyword. So they'll just ask you a basic question like, no, again, technology. Rishka, it is about technology, right? So in technology, it is okay because technologies are highly accurate. Okay, now coming to the next important topic related to agriculture is this boards question. So more or less alternatively also they are trying to ask this board questions. Once they ask tea board, once they may ask coffee board, spice board. Okay, this type of questions they may ask you in the exam. So tea board question already they asked you. Based on this, in recent current affairs, what boards are there? We'll try to cover now as well and in the coming current affairs as well. Okay. So we have seen a tobacco board being asked and try to answer this question. With reference to tobacco board in India, consider the following statements. The board is a statutory body. So first of all, you need to check if it is a statutory body or not, means there should be some act. Okay. Second, it says that it is a regulatory body attached to ministry. So some ministry they try to give, okay, similar to like, for example, this is a UPSC question. Okay, T board. So here also you can see some ministry has been given. They're saying it's statutory body. Then they're asking head office. So whenever you're reading some board questions, I want you to focus more on these things. Is it a statutory? It is autonomous organization. Okay, there are certain words you need to focus. Then which ministry you need to focus or headquarters also you need to focus. And sometimes they may give you its function as well. Okay, what is its primary function? So these are the things you will focus in the like whenever you prepare this topic. So tell me, what will you focus first? First, you will focus on what type of body it is. Okay, it could be statutory, it could be independent, it could be autonomous. These type of words will be, or it could be attached office also. Second, you will focus on ministry. Very good. You will focus on ministry, especially in these questions. Third, you will focus on headquarters. And fourth, you will focus on functions. Okay, and all these things you will get in simply if you open which page? About us page. That's it. Okay, most of the things we'll try to cover here, but still I'll give you one or two tasks. You have to do that. Okay, and if you find any other important boards also, yes, you can go through. But when you are reading things, the problem is you are just trying to read the things, but what exactly to remember for the exam? Okay, there is some problem with that. That is the reason I'm asking you to focus more on these things. So what type of body it is, it comes under which ministry or which department, and what is the where is the headquarters or what is the main functions of that particular body. This is where UPSC also focuses. Fine. Next, so tell me, tobacco board comes under which ministry? Is it agriculture or it is commerce and industry ministry? So generally, again, generally I'm saying not 100%. Generally, these boards come under which ministry? They come under commerce and industry. Remember, generally, most of the boards come under commerce and industry ministry. Okay. Fine. So here tobacco board have given it is statutory body. It functions under Department of Commerce and Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And the basic role we have seen promoting the export of various tobacco products. And this replaced keyword also is important for UPSC. Sometimes they ask you what it has replaced. So you can see here tobacco board replaced the Tobacco Export Promotion Council. Tobacco Export Promotion Council. So whatever there in the slides, you don't have to write. Whatever is not there in the slides, you have to note down. Okay. So where is the headquarters of Tobacco Board? Any idea? Yes, it is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Guntur. Yes, it is in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Very good. Now coming to National Horticulture Board as well. And National Horticulture, why it is important? In mains also, these questions have been asked by UPSC. So horticulture itself becomes very, very important. So with reference to National Horticulture Board in India, consider the following statements. So National Horticulture Board was set as an autonomous organization. So again, it has been given as autonomous organization. It is under the administrative control of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and the board's head office is situated at Gurgaon. Now tell me which of the statements are right. National Horticulture Board. Again, here also I am focusing more on those same things which I told you, what organization it is, it comes under which ministry, what is headquarters, because more or less these are the things they focus on. Okay, so remember, there is an exception for National Horticulture Board. It comes under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Remember this. Kindly note down this. Most of the boards, like be it spice board, be it coffee, or be it tobacco board, be it tea board, all those things come under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. But National Horticulture Board comes under which ministry? National Horticulture Board comes under which ministry? It comes under Agriculture Ministry. Okay, so try to just remember this one exception for the exam. Okay, and rest, yes, it is Gurgaon, and yes, it is an autonomous organization. Okay, and basically here all are correct. Okay, next there is Clean Plant Program, which is mentioned in recent PIB. So how they will ask you a question, based on that I created the statements here. So first you need to know where it has been announced first. So any idea? It is announced in which budget? Clean Plant Program. Clean Plant Program. Okay, basically it is for plant saplings, like quality plant saplings. Simple. It's a very simple program. It is basically for quality plant saplings. Simple. So it has first come in 2023 budget. Okay. And any idea which ministry it comes under? Clean Plant Program. Yes, very good. It comes under Agriculture Ministry. Why? Because it is a scheme under horticulture, integrated horticulture development. So again, I told you, once you see horticulture, again, which ministry is more important for horticulture? It is Agriculture Ministry. So the scheme comes under Integrated Horticulture Development Program. So that is the reason the scheme also comes under Agriculture Ministry. Now, one more important line has been given in this Clean Plant Program, which you have to know. Is it only for small and marginal farmers? Yes or no? Just you can answer in Y and N. Is it only for small and marginal farmers? Clean Plant Program. So these type of questions also, statements also, they can ask in the exam. So it caters to who are the beneficiaries, because in UPSC you see PYQs, some of the statements are related to beneficiaries as well. So you have to remember beneficiaries also for the program. So as such, it is not just for small and marginal farmers, irrespective of the land holding, Okay, it is applicable for all the farmers. Okay, so remember these things. So it is applicable for all the farmers. It comes under horticulture, integrated horticulture management program, and it is ministry, agriculture ministry, and it was first announced in 2023 budget. Fine. Next, overall, some idea about India is the largest producer of fruits and vegetables. So is it first largest, or it is second largest, or it is third largest, or it's fourth largest? Because largest is a UPSC keyword. So they tend to ask largest in the exam. So you have to know at least few of the important things. And nowadays, a lot of focus is on horticulture crops as well. Okay, a lot of focus is being given on horticulture crops. So India is the India is the second largest. Remember that India is the second largest. It is not first largest. India is the second largest. First is China. Okay. So again, they're asking some comparison questions between India and China, right? So there also it might help you. Okay. So India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world. So clean plan program. What is there in the clean plan program? You have to remember one important thing, that is development of 9 clean plan centers. Okay. That's it. Rest of the things same, like infrastructure, it has to provide some quality certification has to be there. Okay. So these are the 3 things, the 3 main components of clean plan program. So tell me, how many components are there in clean plan program? 2 components, 3 components, 4 components, or 5 components? It is basically 3 main components. Okay. And in that, 9 clean plan centers is important. Rest, yes, it is infrastructure. The other is basically quality. Okay. So again, some observations we'll see which are important, especially with respect to world. And we'll try to cover some world also in the current affairs. Whenever we see some important things, we'll try to cover that world comparison also, because nowadays they're asking you few statements in that way. Anyways, among the rice growing countries in the world, India has the largest area under rice crop. Is it true? I'm not talking about production. I'm talking about area. So does India has the largest area under rice cultivation? Definitely, yes. Note down this. Okay, again, you'll forget or you'll not understand the slide. Okay, the answer is yes. India has the largest area under rice crop. And rice has the largest area under irrigation in India. This I think you already know. Rice has the largest area under irrigation. Fine. And recently, with respect to GM crops also, sometimes they may ask you some questions with respect to world. So India has the world's 5th largest cultivable area under genetically modified crops. How many genetically modified crops are allowed in India for cultivation? How many crops are allowed in India? It is just BT cotton. That's it. Okay. GM mustard still requires a lot of approvals and all. Okay. For now, it is BT cotton. Again, I'm talking about genetically modified crops. Yes, GM mustard still it requires approvals. Okay. So it has not directly been introduced yet for commercialization. So when we are talking about commercialization, it's only one crop. What is that? It is BT cotton. Okay, so remember that. Okay, next coming to this type of question, this is also UPSC question where they are trying to ask you pulses. So if they ask you pulses, mostly they may ask you on these lines in the exam. So black gram is there, green gram is there, what is happening to the production and all these things I'll try to help you in the test series, how to handle these statements, because whatever you read, these type of statements are highly impossible to answer in the exam. What is happening with increasing, decreasing and all, this I'll tell you how to handle through test series questions. But simple, at least these things, what is black gram, how much percentage is there, what is happening with the pulses and all, some basic concepts you have to know about pulses, because pulses is an important topic for the exam. So based on this, tell me which has the highest area of pulses? Yes, gram has the highest area of pulses. And remember, in the exam, what they try to do is they'll say that, okay, create a statement which can be wrong by using this pie chart. This gram, what statement can be given in the exam? Can I say that 50% of the area is gram? Can I say this? Is this statement right or wrong? 50% of the area of pulses is gram, or I'll say more than half is gram. Okay, so these type of statements are created by UPSC. So when you see these slides, you need to focus more on those things. Okay, 50% gram they can say, or I'll say that 50%, more than 50% production is gram. That also will be mostly wrong. Okay, or urad means basically it is black gram, which is asked in the exam here, and they asked green gram as well. So here it is black gram and here it is green gram. So tell me here, green gram alone accounts for nearly half of the pulse production. Is it true? Green gram is basically moong. Okay. So green gram alone accounts for, green gram alone accounts for half of the pulse production. Is it right statement? Okay, here gram is basically chickpea, here moong is green gram, and here urad is black gram. Okay, so simply such statements are wrong. This is how you need to revise the slides. So if I ask that gram is nearly 50%, is it right statement? If I just replace this green gram with gram, alone accounts for nearly half of the pulse production. I'll remove this green gram and I'm just writing just gram or chickpea. Then definitely the statement will be right. Nearly means 47 also you can consider it as nearly 15, not an issue. Okay. But anyways, examiner will always try to trick you. Don't worry about that. What the stats, how to handle the stats and all, we'll be teaching you in the test classes. Okay. So now, which state has the holds? Because nowadays we are seeing questions on Kharif crops separately or Rabi crops separately. So that is the reason we have segregated the things based on the recent annual report of pulses. So we have gone through the annual report of the pulses and what exactly is important I have given here. So which state holds first rank in area and production for Kharif pulses? Kharif pulses, which state holds first rank in area and production? You just have to have idea about this. And for Rabi also, you need to have idea about the state because they may ask you comparison questions. Nowadays, you are not seeing a direct question. Every question has 2 or 3 or 4 facts and that too comparisons. That is the reason it's better to learn through comparison. Like Kharif crops are there, Rabi pulses are there. They may try to ask you some comparison question. So here Kharif pulses, if you see which state has first rank in area and production is basically Rajasthan. Okay, so kindly note down this. So for Kharif, it is Rajasthan, whereas Rabi, I think you can answer easily. Which state is known for pulses? Which state is basically known for pulse production? Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Madhya Pradesh. Yes, MP. So Rabi pulses, if you see, it is Madhya Pradesh, whereas Kharif, you can see, it is Rajasthan. Okay, separately also they are trying to ask in the exam sometimes. Next, lentil is a Rabi or Kharif crop? Lentil is a Rabi or Kharif crop. So these are very basic things also you have to learn. Okay, lentil is a Rabi or Kharif crop? Yes, definitely it is a Rabi crop. This also tomorrow, Bright Sir will be discussing these things, like especially for MSP crops, you have to know which are Rabi crop and which are Kharif crops. Next, green gram is a rabi or kharif crop. Again, here it is generally, because more or less most of the crops in India, they can be grown in both the seasons. But in general, if they ask you, so green gram is a rabi or kharif crop? Yes, it is a kharif crop. So green gram, it is K, whereas lentil is a rabi crop. Okay, this next one more task for you. Kindly go through the Cotton Corporation of India about us page, and this is a task 2. Okay, you have to go through the Cotton Corporation of India page and just kind of go through what basically it is, what it has replaced, or what is the organization, the statutory organization or not, what does it do. Okay, so few of the things Cotton Corporation you have to go through. Next, I have given certain slides which can make it easy for you to answer producer questions, because in UPSC PYQs also there are some production questions. This I won't be discussing. This you have to go through. Okay. So I have made it easy for you. It will be very easy. You just have to just see at least the basic 2 things you have to remember: pulse production or cotton production, or wheat production, maize production. You have to remember. Okay. And one of the UPSC question, if you see, they are asking, even I told you that Rabi crops or Kharif crops, especially the focus is more on the Kharif crops, and they are asking you area of the important crops. Okay, so area of the important crops. Again, this requires some time. You need to analyze these things. I am not asking you to go through everything, but at least you only tell me which crops are important in this, which has to be in your notes. At least area wise comparison they are asking you, right? So at least for comparison wise also, one is rice, very good. So rice, you can see here almost it is 411 lakh hectares. Okay, are pulses important? Overall pulses. So overall pulses very important. So at least remember the pulses. Comparison, don't remember the number. It is all about comparison questions. Next, if you see millets, Sriana, Sriana is very important. And then coming to oil seeds. Yes, very good. Oil seeds are important. Overall oil seeds, and then sugarcane, and then cotton. Now you only create the statements. For example, if I ask oil seeds area is more than Sriana, is it right or wrong? Oil seeds area is more than Sriana. So definitely it is right, because oil seed is 193, whereas Sriana is 188. Oil seeds area is more, right? Here, net song area. In 2023. In 2023. And in fact, in the earlier average also, it is high only, 189 and 181. Okay. Fine. This is one important aspect. Next, they may ask you pulses and Sriana. So in pulses and Sriana, which has area, high area, more area? In pulses and Sriana, which has more area? Definitely, it is Sriana. So I am expecting that if they ask, because now this millets are important and pulses are important, at least you have to know millets and pulses, which has the highest area. Rice, anyways, you know, rice is the highest, that every student knows. That is not an issue. So you have to just know this oil seeds, Sriana and pulses. Okay. And now cotton, coming to cotton, cotton is almost 123. Just remember, more or less cotton and pulses is almost same. Okay, the area of cotton and pulses is almost same in India. In that way, you try to remember the thing. And the least of all these things is in area. And least of all these things, especially the important ones, the least is sugarcane. Okay. Now I'll ask you a few things. For example, I want you to give me the order of the area of production. So just give me the order of area of production, especially the main crops. Like for example, rice, pulses, Sriana, oil seeds, cotton, sugarcane. So tell me, first is first is rice. Very good. Rice greater than, rice greater than oil seeds. Yes. After oil seeds, it's Sriana. Very good. After that, pulses or cotton. Okay. And then finally, sugarcane. Okay. So I hope you'll definitely remember this and try to answer the question accordingly in the exam. Same thing. This is a UPSC question on the same lines they have asked. They have also asked Jowar as well. So I want you to just go through. This is also one task for you. Especially important like Jowar and Bajra, you can go through. Okay, here pulses are there. Groundnut also you can go through. Groundnut or other oil seeds, some comparison is there. Then you can do this task as well after the class. So just try to answer this statement, everyone. This statement and this statement, I want you to give the answer, right or wrong. You can write 2 right or wrong, 3 right or wrong. Area under cultivation of pulses is more than Sriana. Area of cotton cultivation is more than sugarcane. Yeah, 2 is definitely wrong and 3 is right. Very good. Next, what I have done is I have segregated all the area, production and yield because in some PYQs they have asked area wise which are the like states highest, production wise they have asked highest and yield wise also they have asked. So you don't have to worry. All the things have been segregated at one place. So you can just go through after the class. Okay? So you can go through for millets, for maize, for production, all those things you can go through. Okay. And these type of questions you need to prepare. So I'll leave this task for you. You have to read this 2 slides and you have to answer these questions. Any doubt in these questions, you can ask me or you can ask Bright Sir as well. Okay. More or less, these 3 questions can be definitely be answered using these 2 slides. Okay. So this slides basically has area, production and yield, which has been asked in UPSC. So this is basically a UPSC PYQ. So 4 sugarcane producing states, any idea? What could be the possible answer? Which of the in decreasing order, which of the following are the 4 sugarcane producing states in India? Yes, it is UP, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Very good. Okay, next we have seen some questions recently, some topics on seed replacement, this thing, and this is a UPSC question. Earlier itself, UPSC has asked some question on this seed replacement and all. So it's better you have some idea about this seed replacement. In this context, in PAB, there is one important initiative, Bharatiya Beej Sahakari Samiti Limited. Bharatiya Beej Sahakari Samiti Limited. So in the PAB, it has been mentioned about this particular initiative, especially this is to improve that seed replacement. So yes, maybe some students might have no, like you may not know the definition of the seed replacement rate. I'll tell you simple. Seed replacement is nothing but it is a ratio, is a measure of how much of total cropped area was sown with certified seeds in comparison to farm saved seeds. So basically, it is just talking about qualified seeds or quality seeds availability. Okay. So can I say that this particular scheme is helping in improving the access to quality seeds? Can we say that? This particular scheme is trying to improve access to quality seeds. So if improved access to quality seeds is there, what will increase? If there is improved access to quality seeds, so what will increase? Seed replacement rate. What will increase is seed replacement rate. So in seed replacement rate, most important point is certified seeds in comparison to farm saved seeds. So in this also again, what will be important? It has come under which act? It is Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act. They have included this Bharatiya Bij Sakari Samiti Limited. It is basically a cooperative. So what will be the nodal agency for this cooperative? The nodal agency is Ministry of Cooperation. Okay, just remember, it's not Agriculture Ministry, it is Ministry of Cooperation. So some difference is there. So they may ask you such difference. They may give you agriculture, whereas agriculture is not the nodal agency. The nodal agency is Ministry of Cooperation because it is a cooperative. Just remember that. Next, in one of the UPSC questions, again, I told you agriculture technologies, they may ask you, especially GM crops or these type of questions are important, like ball guard and boll guard, two technologies they have asked in the exam. These are related to what? They are related to BT cotton. Okay, BT cotton, which is GM crop. BT cotton. In the same way, recently in the news, there are two words or two technologies you can call it. It is called as full page direct seed rice. Remember these words. In the exam, they may ask you directly these words like ball gourd or something. So full page direct seed rice or free hit zero tillage wheat. So these two have been mentioned in the Hindu and Indian Express as well. So full page direct speed rice or free hit zero tillage wheat technologies. So these two words are basically related to these things. So DSR and zero tillage wheat basically will replace water and repeated field plowings with a chemical herbicide. So this basically what is this technologies are? For example, let us take GM crops. In GM crops, what is the major issue? Why there is so much opposition to GM crops? Why there is so much opposition to GM crops? Yeah, what is that ethical issue? What is the issue basically with GM crops? What are they trying to add into it? In the genetic aspects, genetic manipulation, very good. Genetic manipulation. So can I say they're trying to GM crops definition is basically they are trying to add what? Foreign foreign genes. Yes. They are trying to add foreign DNA or foreign. Basically, they are the GM crops, genetically modified crops, especially when foreign DNA is added. So that is the reason it is unethical or a lot of ethical issues are there. We do not know what are the health impacts because there is a foreign gene. But what about this full page direct seed rice or free zero tillage wheat? These technologies, can you call them GM technologies? Are they genetically modified technologies? Means, are they adding any new foreign DNA? Are they adding any new foreign DNA to the rice or to the wheat? Are they adding any new foreign DNA? The answer is simply no. Okay, these technologies are not adding any foreign DNA to the rice or the wheat. These technologies, this full page or free hit technologies, what they do is they just mutation. Okay, there will be a mutation within the genes. There will be a mutation within the genes. As such, there is no foreign DNA. Okay, just there will be some mutation within the gene. Okay, so this is what this technology does. And because of this mutation, what will happen? They are resistant to what? Because of this mutation within the genes, they are resistant to this particular herbicide. Okay, so that is the reason now our institutions are also asking farmers to grow this full page direct seed rice or free hit zero tillage wheat. Okay, because they are resistant to this particular herbicide. So now this herbicide can easily be used when this direct seed rice or this free hit zero tillage is used. Okay, so how this zero tillage is basically technology. That's it. Zero tillage means the soil is there, right? So zero tillage technology means basically you will not disturb the soil much. Okay, without disturbing the soil itself, you try to transplant something like that. Okay, so that is zero tillage. Yeah, sowing. So you sow basically without much disturbance to the soil. That is called zero tillage. So now what happened? These new technologies have come and this herbicide can be easily used to clear the weed because the plants are now resistant to this particular herbicide because of this mutation which was created in this rice and wheat seeds. Okay. So whereas actually it is not a GM crop. Remember that. Okay. They are not GM technologies. Is it clear, everyone? The difference between that Bolgard and this full page direct seed. So tell me, is this Bolgard one a GM technology? Is it a foreign DNA? Definitely, yes. Bolgard 1 and Bolgard 2 technologies are foreign DNA. What foreign DNA they tried to include in BT cotton? A bacteria DNA they tried to include in BT cotton, right? Okay, so the bacteria DNA they tried to include in BT cotton. That is called basically Bolgard 1 and Bolgard 2 technologies. Okay. Now coming to mating disruption technologies also sometimes seen in news. Last year also I have this is an important topic. Before the exam, how do you know? Means it's a basically BT cotton, right? It has been asked in the news lot of times. It was there in the Hindu and Indian Express as well. Yeah. So mating disruption technology recently in some of the news it has been mentioned. So basically mating disruption technology sometimes seen in news is related to pest control. It is related to pest control. Remember this technology. We are expecting that this question be asked. Why? Because UPSC generally asks current affairs 1 year before current affairs also it tends to ask. Okay, so this question may come in the exam. Mating disruption technology, pest control, basically nothing but simple. Remember, this is some material, okay, which releases some pheromones. Pheromones means just remember some hormones. Okay, you don't have to go into the technology, technical aspects. Basically, once they tie this knot to the plant, here you can see they have tied the knot. This knot will release certain hormones which will disrupt the mating cycle. That's it. This is a small thing you have to remember for the exam. There is some material here. Okay, they will tie the knot to the tree and this or plant, and this knot releases certain hormones which will disrupt the mating cycle of that pest. That's it. So this is the this mating disruption technology. Okay, and the technology is called what? These two names you try to remember for the exam: PB knot and splat. Okay, PB knot and splat. They may ask you in this way, like Bolgard 1, Bolgard 2. You have seen, right? So if I ask PB knot and splat technologies are mentioned in the context of, what will be the answer? We ask you a similar question like PB Not and Splat technologies are mentioned in the news in the context of. So what will be the answer of this question? The answer will be in the context of pest control. Okay. So mating disruption is a pest control technique that confuses insects' ability to find mates, reducing their population through disrupted reproduction. Okay, disrupted reproduction. Fine. Next, oil seeds. Some of the stats have given here. Oil seeds, very simple to remember. The area and production wise, soya bean is the highest. It's very easy to remember. Just remember this one point. Okay, oil seeds area wise also soya bean, and even production wise also it is soya bean. Okay, so just remember that one topic. And yes, recently Prime Minister has initiated this national mission on edible oils. Okay, earlier also it was there, but again they have relaunched it for the next 5 years. So in that case, this will become important for the exam. And I told you in the beginning also, oil seeds are important for this year. Okay. Yeah, just take a 4-5 minutes break. Okay, 4-5 minutes break, and then we'll continue. So here the mission aims to increase primary oil seed production. Again, you don't have to remember as such, but just remember that it aims to increase the primary oil seed production. And mission targets to increase domestic edible oil production. Again, here basically you need to focus on this 72% of our projected domestic requirement. I'll tell you how the question will be asked from this, how UPSC thinks or how examiner thinks and how they ask you the question. That we'll see in the next slide. But just for now, just remember this, okay? 2021 and 2030, 31. Next, they have also started this rolling seed plan, okay, through the Sati portal, which is also related to seed authentication, traceability, and holistic inventory. Next, there is Pradhan Mantri Annadata Sanrakshak Abhiyan. Again, it is also basically nothing but a PM Asha scheme, which is oil seed MSP scheme. So for oil seeds also there is MSP, and basically there are some two institutions which collect, procure oil seeds. Okay, and then there is 20% import duty on edible oils have been imposed to protect domestic producers. Okay, now you have seen all these things, and then there is yes, almost 57% of our domestic demand comes from imports. Okay, 57% of our domestic demand also comes from imports. Now, how the question will be asked, they may not ask you a direct question. They'll say, first of all, 100% import duty on oil seeds. Sometimes we may believe such things like, okay, there is 100% import duty. Why? Because yes, we need to promote domestic this thing. But is it true? Is there 100% import duty on oil seeds? No. Okay, definitely the answer is no. Next, there is 100% import substitution of edible oils by 2030-31. 100% import substitution of edible oils by this is kind of believable, but again, is it right or wrong? In the exam, if they give you 100% import substitution of edible oils by 2030-31, okay, sometimes yes, it may be believable, but again, that statement is wrong. How much we are trying to achieve? What was the percentage given? 72% of our projected domestic requirement we can achieve, but it is not 100%. But examiner can definitely play with that. They will tell you that yes, by 2031 we need to achieve 100% import substitution in National Mission on Edible Oil. This is exact statement we are expecting to be asked in the exam, especially this statement. If they ask you National Mission on Edible Oils, oil seeds, the recent mission, okay. And more than half of this domestic edible oil demand is met by imports. Is it true? Generally, now we have seen, I told you that percentage also, more than half of our domestic edible oil demand is met by imports. So these are the basic things you need to remember for the exam. Okay. Now coming to, so till now what I have seen, till now what topics we have seen, tell me. First, what did we discuss? First, we discussed some important reports I said. So this anyways will come again and again in the current affairs also. For now, I have discussed land use statistics. Okay, land use statistics, and in that very important one percentage I have given. What is that percentage? Do you remember? Yes, 58%. Very good. 58%. I asked you to remember this percentage for land use statistics. And then we focused more on the trends part, like what is the area, production, all those things we have focused. And yes, culturable wasteland also we discussed. And then we discussed more about area, production, and all those things, how the questions are being asked, and especially area of those 4, 5, 6 crops, which are very important. That which is largest, yes, which is largest, and comparison part also we discussed regarding area. So all these are basically UPSC questions, remember. Now, apart from these things, sometimes UPSC also focuses on some unique initiatives. Like recently, you have seen some World Economic Forum question of 100 million farmers, or they may ask you some unique initiatives. For example, here, last year they asked you 100 million farmers. So in the same way, we've like one important topic for next year will be this AI for agriculture innovation, which is again called AI for AI. Okay. In this, what is important or what can be changed in the exam is this part. So AI for AI aims to scale digital infrastructure through PPP. This you need to remember. This can be easily changed in the exam. Okay, they'll give you something else here. They'll say that it's a government initiative, okay, or it is a intergovernmental initiative. These type of things they'll try to give in the exam. Whereas, what is the initiative? It aims to build that digital agriculture through PPP, public-private partnership. So just remember that. And impact how many farmers? 1 million farmers globally by 2027. So AI for AI, it's an important topic for 2025. Next, partnership with India to create India's agricultural stack. Yes, there is some partnership with India also. And India specific partnerships you can see in Telangana, UP, and Maharashtra. Okay. So these are the 3 states which have partnered with that particular organization. Now tell me, what is this organization? Any idea? AI for AI has been started, or by which organization? Yes, it is World Economic Forum. It is World Economic Forum. So the initiative has taken by World Economic Forum, AI for Agriculture Innovation. So they may ask you, they may not ask you directly World Economic Forum, they may at least ask you what is this program. So what is this program? What is the important keyword you will remember for the program? For example, they asked you in this way, okay, this 100 million farmers. So in this, what exactly keyword you will search? You will search for PPP. So in that way, easily you can remember in the exam as well. Next, in last, I think in 2023, this question was asked, small farmer, large field, if you remember. So again, this also was there in Hindu, the Indian Express, somewhere in Orissa, this model was being practiced. They are trying to ask such type of models from different states in the exam as well. So in the similar way, recently, mustard model forms has been in use a lot. Mustard model forms. So what will be the UPSC examiner mindset in asking this type of questions? First of all, they'll ask you, it is launched by. So it is launched by, already I have given here. Okay, it is launched by Solvent Extractors Association of India and Solid Arid Ad. In 2021 continues its commitment to increase mustard production in India. So this you try to remember. This will be the most question, like collectively it is launched by what? And farmers field schools also they have started for training the farmers as part of this program. And what has been given is 35% increase in the yield of mustard over 5 years because of this mustard model farm project. Okay. So this you try to remember for the exam. Now tell me, first time it was started in which state also can be asked in the exam. So first time it was started in Rajasthan. Okay. So kindly note down this. First time it has been started in Rajasthan. So same thing, see, some of the articles which were mentioned about small farmer, large field, which was asked in the exam, in the similar way, this also is important for the exam, mustard model farms. So which state, as it was first introduced? It was first introduced in Rajasthan. In the similar way, whenever some important initiatives of agriculture come, we'll definitely discuss in the current affairs class. So do not worry about that. That part you leave it to us. We will try to search all those things based on whatever these things come up in Indian Express or the Hindu. We will try to cover in the current affairs as well. So you don't have to worry that later if it comes in January or February also, we'll definitely go through the articles, and if something important, some models are important, we'll try to cover in the current affairs class as well. Now coming to fertilizers, which is important topic for UPSC. So recently some articles are there on fertilizers. So static part, what they can ask is, so recently in PIB also these things are mentioned. So tell me, these are related to which of the following? What are these basically? Are they types of synthetic chemical? Are they organic fertilizers? Are they pesticides? Or soil conditions exclusively made for mineral deposits? They are basically organic fertilizers. Remember, organic fertilizer. First of all, fertilizer topic is important for the exam. Second, organic fertilizers is definitely important for the exam. So these words, if you see in the exam, they are basically organic fertilizers produced as byproducts of biogas and compressed biogas plants. Okay. Do you remember Govardhan scheme? Govardhan. There is a scheme, right, which uses cow dung to produce gas. Okay, it is basically nothing but the byproducts of those scheme. Simple. It is basically these three things are the byproducts of that particular scheme. So in that scheme, basically we are using cow dung to produce biogas and compressed biogas plants. So in this way, you try to remember in the exam. So they are organic fertilizers that are byproducts of biogas and compressed biogas plant. These fertilizers are made from plant and animal waste that has been decomposed and fermented. Next important is nutrient-based subsidy scheme. Nutrient-based subsidy scheme. One fertilizer question can come in the exam, and one topic which has not been touched yet is basically nutrients-based subsidy scheme. And in some of the recent exams also this scheme has been asked. So that is the reason this can be asked in the exam. So first thing, one of the aim is to encourage competition among fertilizer companies. Is it true? Nutrient-based subsidy scheme, one of the aim is to encourage competition among fertilizer companies. Possibility is there because it is a scheme where it want to bring some rationalization, where it wants to like improve the fertilizer production and all. So there, yes, definitely possibility is there. One of the aim. Nutrient-based subsidies approved by Department of Fertilizers. Here, the important keyword you will underline is approved. Okay, approved by. Approved by is the keyword. Generally, remember, for agriculture, especially approval part means approval for MSP or approval for the subsidies and all will come from which organization or which department, or not exactly department. It comes from which institution, we can say. Yes, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So remember, they'll try to confuse you using these things. Always the approval has to come from Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So you don't have to try to remember things. You just remember that simple approval mostly is given by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Recommendation and all, yes, that particular department will be there. Those departments will recommend, but the approval has to come from Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So same thing has been asked in the exam also many times. For example, MSP approval is given by. Very good. Given by CCA. Now I will say one more question. I'll ask you one more question. Urea price. First of all, is it controlled or decontrolled in India? Urea price. Urea is a fertilizer. Price is controlled or decontrolled in India. Controlled means basically it's fixed by government. Decontrolled means market oriented. So remember, especially urea, it is controlled. It's controlled. Now tell me, if I ask you the statement, who fixes the price of urea? Who will give the approval for the price of urea? Again, the answer will be Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Okay. So it's so simple. Just remember that MSP or the area that the prices, all those things are basically fixed by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Yes. So urea is not part of it. Yes, definitely urea is not part of it. Okay, apart from all the non-urea fertilizers are basically part of nutrient-based subsidy scheme. So basically the focus is more on this decontrolled phosphorus and potash fertilizers. So the objectives have given here. You can go through, and who approves already we discussed. And Government of India decontrolled phosphatic and potassic fertilizers in 1992 itself. Okay, so just remember this part. Now, last year, I think urea gold fertilizer also has been introduced. Urea gold. Again, it is not easy to identify gold with sulfur. So just remember, it is gold. Urea gold is nothing but basically urea fortified with sulfur. This is the only thing you need to remember for the exam. Urea gold is nothing but urea fortified with sulfur. Okay. Okay, now question time. For which type of fertilizer India is fully dependent on imports? For which fertilizer India is fully dependent on imports? Very good. It is potash. Okay, for potash, India is fully dependent on imports. And some of the exams, this question also has been asked. So just remember. So 20% of the domestic requirement of urea, 50 to 60% of DAP, and 100% of the potash is met through imports. Okay. Now, finally, yes, the last topic for today will be the new agriculture techniques. Every year, more or less, one agriculture technique is being asked, and the coming slides are very important for the exam. Okay, so new agriculture practices. So we are going through a lot of agriculture practices which can come in the exam. So already you can see in PYQs what they have asked. In PYQs, they have asked system of rice intensification. Simply, they said it reduce seed requirement, reduce methane production, reduce electricity consumption. All are very positive statements. So more or less the answer will be what? System of rice intensification of cultivation, in which alternative wetting and drying of rice fields is practiced, results in reduced seed requirement, reduced methane production, reduced electricity production. They are all positive. So more or less, yes, you can go for all. So this question is already asked. Okay, PYQ it's already asked. And conservation agriculture also is been asked, but I want you to go through these things. Okay. Permaculture also I want you to go through. This is one more task. Okay. How many tasks are there? Almost 3 tasks already I have given, right? This will be your 4th task. Whatever UPSC already has asked, I just want you to go through once. What are these techniques? System of rice intensification, conservation agriculture, and permaculture. All these are UPSC PYQs. Okay, so kindly note down some like this is the another task which you have to go through UPSC PYQ techniques, new agriculture practices techniques. Now coming to new techniques which can be asked in the exam. This question can be asked in the exam. Farmer managed natural regeneration. In one of this has been mentioned in even in FAO also, it has been mentioned in important websites also, this has been mentioned. Farmer managed, same thing like small farmer, large field, you have seen, right? On similar lines, this question can be asked in the exam. Farmer managed natural regeneration is a simple, scalable, sustainable land management approach that empowers farmers to stop and reverse land degradation. Just remember, this is basically to stop land degradation through regrowing trees on farmlands and also grazing lands. So for the exam purpose, again, they'll ask you simple question. They'll say that like small farmer, large field, option A, option B, option C, option D. Same way, they'll give you this farm managed natural regeneration. In the options, you will look for which important keyword. In the options, you will look for which important keyword in this. Farmer managed natural regeneration is a technique. Which of the following options are right? A, B, C, D, they'll give you. In the options, you need to look for important keyword. It is basically reversing land degradation. One is reversing land degradation, and other is one important point is reversing land degradation. But how do you reverse land degradation in this? What they are trying to do? They are trying to regrow what? Trees. Trees. Remember that. Okay. They are trying to regrow trees. So without requiring any external inputs or expensive equipment. So basically it is to combat poverty and hunger among the most poor subsistence farmers by increasing food and timber production and resilience to climate extremes. So in this way, they may ask you a question in the exam. Farmer managed natural regeneration. So the keywords you will remember is one is reverse the land degradation. The other is will be regrowing trees. Okay. And especially to address poverty and hunger. Fine. Next, recently again in news, this has been mentioned. Pre-monsoon dry sowing technique. Pre-monsoon dry sowing technique. Especially it has been practiced in Andhra Pradesh. So what is this technique is? PMDS is a technique that involves sowing seeds before monsoon season, usually in April, without waiting for rain. What is happening is generally in summer, we just leave the land. Okay. But what they're trying to bring some new techniques, even during summer also, in the morning, can I say there is some dew in summer? Have you seen in the fields, generally there is a dew in summer in the morning? Okay, because of the temperature inversion and all, okay, especially in summers also, in the morning there will be some dew. Using the dew also, there you can actually grow crops. So this is how this technique is trying to use. Even in summer also, they are trying to grow crops. So basically the idea is 365 days, something we can grow on the land. But yes, you have to maintain what? That diversity, that crop diversity, the soil health, you have to maintain. So basically this pre-monsoon dry sowing technique is that involves sowing seeds before the monsoon first. Second thing, the seeds are pelletized with a mixture of clay, ash, and bioinoculants. The dew that forms in the early morning provides moisture to the soil. And PMDS has not only improved crop diversity but also significantly contributed to graduating farmers to adopt 365 days of green vegetation. So first it is piloted in Andhra Pradesh. So they may ask you this type of questions also. And next, carbon farming. Carbon farming also has an important technique. In this also, what exactly you will focus, I'll tell you what important words you need to focus if they ask you carbon farming. So carbon farming, basically remember, it is, yes, it is an agriculture practice, but what will be the most important word? Why do we need to practice carbon farming? Carbon farming is a set of agriculture practices that help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and store carbon in the soil. Nothing but carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration, nothing but we need to store carbon in the soil. Okay, so nothing but we have to store carbon in the soil. So this is the land and this is the soil area. So if you are trying to fix the carbon and store in the soil, it is basically carbon farming. So carbon farming is two things, not just storing the carbon, but also reducing greenhouse gas emissions. How do you do that? It's very, again, same thing, cover crop you can use, reduce tillage, okay, applying soil amendments like compost or biochar, all these things you can use. Okay, so carbon farming is basically very broad thing only, but try to remember there are two things for this. One is greenhouse gas emissions and second is carbon sequestration, nothing but storing carbon in the soil. Okay, so these two things you try to remember for carbon farming. Now in PYQ, recently Miyawaki method is asked. Do you remember Miyawaki method? It is basically simply an urban forestry method. Okay, in a small area, they try to grow forest in urban areas, and it has been asked in the exam. So based on this, we have seen recently in the CBD. CBD is that Convention on Biological Diversity, and even in FAO, in all, many important websites, there is a technique called Zai technique has been mentioned. Okay, so any idea? Can you answer this question? The Zai technique is well known for. It is almost like Miyawaki only. Not exactly like Miyawaki, but I'm just saying on that lines a question can be asked. Yes, the answer could be possibly C. Because yes, the fishing and all, UPSC is not much interested in this. Okay, maybe, yeah, traditional water, okay, fine. Here, salt tolerant in coastal areas, again, very specific. Whereas you can see here a broad statement, soil and water conservation technique to improve crop production in arid and semi-arid areas. Okay, so Zai technique is nothing but it's a technique kind of soil and water conservation technique to improve crop production in arid and semi-arid areas. Simple, I'll tell you what they do is in semi-arid region, what they do is they dig pits. Okay, in this way they dig pits. And in this pits, what they do, they place some organic material. They place some organic material, organic in all the pits. And in that organic material, they place the seeds also. Seeds. They place the seeds. And suppose if there is some rainfall and all, what will happen in the pits? The pits can be filled with proper water as well. Okay. So in this way, this is called J technique. So in this way, kind of water conservation is also being done. Okay. And some organic matter also they are placing in the pits. So this is basically called Zyme technique. Okay. Next, biointensive agriculture. Recently, this has been mentioned a lot of times. Biointensive, and this is not easy to answer because it is a very unique thing. That is the reason I am covering this. So, biointensive agriculture. Tell me which of the statements are right. Biointensive agriculture. It is almost like conservation agriculture has been asked, permaculture has been asked for you. In the similar way, next year they may ask you biointensive agriculture as well. It's a very unique kind of agriculture technique because you need to know the exact definition of this biointensive agriculture. Okay, so here this zero tillage or tilling is minimized to preserve soil structure is basically wrong. See, generally in agriculture techniques, we generally see zero tillage or minimum tillage. For example, in conservation agriculture is there. In conservation agriculture, can I say there is minimum tillage? Is it right? In conservation agriculture, can I say there is minimum tillage? Because the word itself says conservation agriculture. Minimum tillage again, same thing. There is less disturbance to the soil. There is less disturbance to the soil. Okay. But whereas in bio-intensive agriculture, remember, it is not zero tillage. It is not zero tillage. This is exactly where examiner will try to trick you in the exam. It is not zero tillage. Properly, there will be digging of the soil. Okay. In fact, there will be double digging of the soil. You can see here, it involves deep soil preparation through double digging. So this is where exactly examiner will try to change the things. Rest of the things are almost same. Okay. So bio-intensive agriculture is an organic agriculture system that focuses on achieving maximum yields from a minimum area of land. Again, remember the focus is on minimum area. Same like Miyawaki method. Miyawaki method also, it's a minimum area, and in the minimum area they try to grow a forest. So here also bio-intensive agriculture is in minimum area, you bring maximum yields. So while simultaneously increasing biodiversity and sustaining the fertility of the soil. It is particularly effective for backyard gardens or small farmers. So remember, as such, this may not be viable for large farmers. So bio-intensive farming, major things you have to remember is one thing, yes, it tries to achieve maximum yield, but in the smaller area. Second thing you need to focus more on is small scale. It is a small scale application. Third thing you need to focus it on is, yes, there is deep soil preparation. These are the three things important for bio-intensive farming. Rest of the things you can handle in the exam, but these three things can be easily changed in the exam. So these things you need to remember. Is it clear, everyone? Bio-intensive farming, what are the three things you need to remember? Tell me, what are the three things you need to remember? One is deep digging, very good. Deep digging or double digging, you can call it. Yes, one is small scale, very good. And next is maximum yield, but in minimum area. That's it. Okay. So I hope you will be able to solve that question if it is asked in the exam, bio-intensive agriculture. Next, controlled environmental agriculture. This is very simple. Just remember hydroponics or aeroponics. Basically, hydroponics is nothing but controlled environmental agriculture. Okay. So in that way, you can answer the question. So this you can go through. Biodynamic farming, one word you need to remember in the exam, that is ecological and spiritual principles. Ecological and spiritual principles. So that is the reason it is called biodynamic farming, where you will focus on ecological and spiritual principles. So here I have mentioned here, for example, animals to till cover crops in the winter, make use of natural predators. Okay, hand picking during the cooler hours, like even the sun and moon, basically the hours of sun and moon, the sunrise, the timing and all, basically based on that time you pick the crops and all. So all those things are part of this biodynamic farming. So it is basically ecological and the spiritual principles as well. So these two words have to be there in the biodynamic farming. Okay. So you wait for the sunrise. After sunrise, you may not pick the produce. So such type of things are followed in this biodynamic farming. Next, floating farming. Floating farming is basically practiced in Bangladesh. It's also very simple. You can see here in this diagram, you will understand. So in the wetlands and all, or in the riverbeds, okay, there they just use the weed will be there, right? The weed in the ponds and all. On that base, they try to grow crops. Okay. So here entire there is in the down of these things, entire there is some weed and all. On that they try to grow some crops. Okay, it is called basically floating farming, float farming. Okay. So Fruiting agriculture is way of utilizing areas which are waterlogged for long periods, and because of that, there is some weed growth and all on that vegetation, on that rotting vegetation. If you grow some crops, it is called floating farming. Especially it is practiced in Bangladesh. And conservation agriculture, already UPSC has asked the question. It may repeat the question also. Remember, it may repeat the conservation agriculture question as well. So for the exam, you need to remember three components of conservation agriculture. The three main components of conservation agriculture are: first is crop diversification. Crop diversification means you cannot just grow rice. You can grow rice, wheat, different crops, legumes, jawar, these type of crops you try to grow. So crop diversification is very important point of conservation agriculture. Second important point is minimal soil movement. Again, what is this called? Just now we discussed. What is this called? Yes, zero tillage or minimum tillage. We call it minimum tillage or zero tillage. Next, third important point will be soil coverage with residue of previous crops. For example, there is there is some dry waste of the previous crop. That dry waste, what will you do? You will cover the soil with the dry waste. You can see here. Okay, you are covering the soil with the dry waste. So these are the three important aspects of conservation agriculture. So tell me, what are these three important aspects of conservation agriculture? One is crop diversity, very good, or crop diversification. Crop diversification. Second is minimum tillage, very good. And then finally, the third is use the residue, very good. Use the residue or soil coverage. Soil coverage. Okay. Next, the last topic is direct seeding of rice. Because recently there is in Indian Express, there is an article on this. Properly, there is an article on this in Indian Express. So this can be asked in the exam as well. Okay, I think already in PYQs they have asked, but still it is important. Okay, direct seeding of rice. And I am expecting how this question will come is directly they'll not ask you, they'll ask you a comparison question. Is system of rice intensification and direct seeding of rice, are they both same? System of rice intensification, SRI, versus direct seeding of rice, are they both same? System of rice intensification, already you have seen, right? One of the question I've shown you here. System of rice intensification. Okay. Is it different from direct seeding of rice? Yes, they are kind of different. So how they are different? First, you have to understand how they are different, because such question can come in the exam. And I told you nowadays, to make the questions complex, we are expecting that UPSC is trying to ask you comparison questions more in the exam. Because what happens in comparison questions, you need to have knowledge about two topics. Okay, not just one topic. So such type of questions will come in the exam in the coming years. So here you can see basically direct seeding of rice. There is no as such water here. Okay, there is no water logging here. So more or less it is just a direct seeding. Means just they just directly plant the seeds. Okay, so that is called direct seeding of rice. Whereas what is this called? What is this procedure called? This procedure is transplanting. Okay, so transplanting and flooded irrigation, flooded rice cultivation basically. So this is generally the normal way generally the rice is grown here, paddy and all. But yes, nowadays some of the farmers are also adopting direct seeding of rice, where Water logging will not be there. Directly by seeds, they will grow. Okay. So seeds are placed and directly they are grown. So it requires no nursery preparation. Obviously, why there is no nursery preparation? Because directly seeds are put in. Okay, directly seeds are used here, whereas nursery is required. Nursery is required basically for what? For this transplant. Okay. So the iron content of the soil determines the suitability of DSR. First of all, remember that DSR is not suitable for all the soils. Okay. It depends upon the iron content of the soils. Now in the exam, if I say DSR technique is suitable for all the soils, is it right or wrong? If I ask you in the exam, DSR is basically suitable for all type of soils, definitely it is wrong. Okay, it is not actually for all type of soils. Next in this, seed treatment also is crucial. Okay, so remember, seed treatment also is crucial. And finally, yes, some it requires less labor. It matures before itself. Okay, 7 to 10 days faster than normal rice, normal paddy cultivation. Okay, so it matures faster and also it requires less labor. And it can also reduce water usage by 15 to 20%. The field is irrigated and leveled prior to the seeding process. Again, they will try to say that as such, there is no irrigation in direct seeding of rice. Is it right statement? As such, there is no irrigation or something like that if they say, okay, it is definitely wrong. Irrigation is definitely there. Just that flooded irrigation will not be there. Remember that. Okay. So flooded irrigation will not be there. It's not more iron content. I'll tell you. I'll discuss that. Okay. We'll discuss that. Before that, try to answer this question. SRI and DSR involves direct seeding into the field. Is it SRI and DSR involves direct seeding into the field? System of rice intensification and direct seeding of rice involves direct seeding into the field. Definitely it is wrong because DSR involves direct seeding, whereas SRI is almost similar only, almost like transplantation only, but only one difference is that the transplant is done just in 8 to 10 days itself. Okay, 8 to 10 days. Okay, that anyways I'll explain later. So SRI is suitable for regions with abundant labor, whereas DSR is preferred in areas with labor shortages. Can we say that? Because direct seeding of rice, does it require a lot of labor? Direct seeding of rice, does it require a lot of labor? Definitely no. Because there is no transplanting there is no transplanting as such. Okay. Unlike DSR, which is suitable only for mid to heavy textured soils. Yes. So you have asked a question, right? About the iron and all. So that iron content has to be in this way, like mid to heavy textured soils. Okay. So very less iron content will be there, then it will not work. Okay. So mid to heavy textured soils should be there. Unlike DSR, which is suitable only for mid to heavy textured soils, SRI is suitable in all types of soils, including less fertile soil. So is this statement right or wrong? Direct seeding of rice, while it is suitable only for mid or heavy textured, SRI is suitable in all types of soil, including less fertile soil. Definitely, the answer is yes. It is a right statement. Unlike DSR, where weeds are major problem, in SRI, weeds are incorporated into the soil and add nutrients to the crop like green manures. So weed problem is more in which system? In DSR or SRI? Weed problem is more in DSR or SRI? Definitely will be DSR. Why? Because simply again, see here. There is no as such flooded irrigation or something. Again, clearly barren, proper land is there in between in which easily weed can grow. Okay. So remember, weed problem is high in DSR. Whereas in SRI, it will be what happens? There is a lot of spacing given in SRI. Okay. Each transplant, a lot of spacing is given because they will use certain weed machine to mix that weed within the soil and it acts as what? Green manure. Okay, so that is how system of rice intensification is followed. So I have given properly the differences here. You can go through. So basically planting method, if you see system of rice intensification, transplanting young seedlings like usually 8 to 10 days old, whereas here it is direct seeding. Water management also there will be wetting and drying. Alternative wetting and drying will be there, whereas here it requires less water. And seed requirement also low seed rate because properly you take the transplant and plant it. Definitely it requires low seed. Whereas in direct seed, as you are using lot of seeds, okay, here almost they use 5 kg, you can say for 1 acre or something, 5 kg seeds are used, whereas here only 2 kg seeds might be used. And labor requirement, yes, definitely it is transplanting, high labor is required, whereas here low labor is required. So why we are giving you this question? Simply a similar question can be asked on these lines. For example, you only can create a question based on this. So for example, if they ask you direct seeding of rice, if it is practice, it results in what? Direct seeding of rice, does it reduce seed requirement? Does it reduce seed requirement? No, seed, a lot of seed is required, right? Just now we discussed. That is the difference between SRI and direct seeding of rice. Direct seeding of a lot of seeds are required. Okay. And overall, does it reduce methane production? Does it reduce methane production? Definitely it will reduce methane production. Why? What is the reason? Is it flooding? Flooding irrigation type of rice cultivation? No. Yes. That is the reason. The methane production. Yes, water logging is not there. That is the reason methane production will be also kind of less. And reduce electricity consumption? Definitely yes. Because water again, water, a lot of water you are not using. So reduce electricity consumption as well. So in this way, they'll try to ask you questions in the exam. And for conservation agriculture, I asked you to remember 3 things. What are those 3 things? Crop diversity, less tillage, very good, and residues, crop. Now answer this question. Avoiding monocultural practices. Is it right? Conservation agriculture means avoiding monocultural practices. Avoiding monocultural practices. It means what? Your first point. What is the first point we discussed? Yes, crop diversity. Crop diversity. Avoiding monoculture practices means promoting crop diversification. Yes, very good. Next, adopting minimum tillage. Definitely, yes. Next, avoiding the cultivation of plantation crops. Is it given in the 3? Okay, as such, no. This is how they try to trick you. Okay, something completely which does not make sense at all. Such type of statements they try to give. Okay. So you don't have to overthink on them. Using crop residues. Very good. And this rotation, crop rotation also comes under what? Which part of the 3 components? Yes, diversity. That's it. So in this way, if you remember the important things, if the question is repeated also, you can answer in the exam. Okay, so with this, today's class will end. Okay, tomorrow Bright Sir will be taking the class, and more or less you can go through this important techniques also once. This will be your 5th task. Any other important like for example permaculture class, permaculture you can go through. There is a PYQ on that. Our rest of the things I think we discussed. Okay, so the class will be day after tomorrow. Okay, so next class will be day after tomorrow. Class will be on Friday. Next class will be on Friday. So it will be on same agriculture topics. But for you, I already have given certain tasks, and everyone, you should focus on PYQs also. What all PYQs have been given. Whatever task I have given now, you should complete that, and these slides you have to complete. And a bit about MSP, you can read and come to the next class. Okay. So try to first complete all the things, some aspects of that production area. It takes time. It takes time. So properly sit, make some notes of from the slides as well. So any other doubt, I will be available and Bright Sir also will be available. So that's it for today. So thanks everyone for attending, and yeah, we will be available on Telegram. Okay, so tomorrow if you have any doubt, you can ask me.